Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nav.it Files. I'm Maya and this is Erin, and we're excited to be back on our seventh episode. Today, let's start it off as we do every day. Erin, what did you do for yourself today?
I got acupuncture.
Oh my God, you did.
I was so proud of it. Yes, super early this morning.
Mhm.
But my energy has been rising into this level and I've been working out and I have this acupuncturist I love. So move my energy.
On your face, is that scary?
No, they were working on my liver and my gallbladder. So it was down.
Oh, so we've been consuming too much alcohol during the holidays.
No, that's if you really want the story,
Yeah.
that's where all of your like yang energy is, like your go 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 energy, which we have been in go 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 mode for the
We
last
have.
4 months. Yes. So
Wow.
it's trying to release that into balance.
I love it.
Huh.
I
It's
love it.
also why you die of liver cancer when you're an alcoholic, because you are an alcoholic and you have a lot of like angst and go 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 mode energy stuck in your liver.
Didn't know.
Yeah, we could do Chinese medicine all day. Are we really?
I feel like I should go do that. Good.
Yeah.
What did I do for myself today?
Yes.
Well, of course, I worked out early this morning, but my true self care has yet to come. I'm getting a massage tonight. We're down
Yay!
the same path. Uh,
Yeah.
since it started to snow here and the skate ski season has started up, my like trap muscles here.
Yes.
I was so bad. I asked John to give me a massage, and he was like, "What? Like, why is your back has gotten so muscular and like so tight?" And I was like, "Yes." But at the same time, like, yeah, it does really hurt, like
It's
constantly.
probably stress.
So,
Yeah.
I'm like, and you're really not doing it for me, so I'm gonna hire a professional.
The reason professionals get trained in it, you should definitely go to a professional.
Totally. And like per our conversation right now, women in the US do not take as much time to prioritize self-care like acupuncture or massages and body work as the rest of the world does. That also means that practitioners in this country charge a higher premium because it's a
Yeah.
more elite thing to do. But like
Yeah.
literally places all over the world,
So
it's
true.
not even a second thought. It's like baked into your monthly expenses.
It's so true. And because it's accessible though, that's another thing that I think is so fascinating. So a friend of mine loves to talk about how China, and this we're generalizing a billion plus people, but professional China loves to take naps. Like there's a nap time between, they work insane amount of hours, but they like take their nap at 2 p.m. And he's like, that I would be so much more functional if I could do that. That is my rhythm. I want to take a nap in the middle of the day.
Well, it's like siestas are brilliant. And
Yeah.
like the Mediterranean culture, when they started to divest in siestas and that like nap time culture, I'm listening to a book on sleep right now.
Oh,
Um,
how's that
but
going?
they actually became less productive and their risk for cancer, obesity, all
Yeah,
these other degenerative diseases skyrocketed.
because they were less productive. Oh, that's
Because they became less productive and they were more tired. I mean, they were more sleep deprived because they weren't following the
stuff.
natural
Yeah,
circadian rhythm.
yeah, yeah.
It's called Why We Sleep. It's brilliant. I'll throw it in the show notes. What's up next?
It's just one more plug for Chinese medicine. They love rhythms of the season. So sleeping now is something different than in springtime. So now is the time for you to hibernate and sleep and, eat all the warm foods, the foods that make you want to hibernate. So you should pay attention. I'll send you yams.
Please do.
Perfect. Okay, back to tell us today what your marketing focus was.
So my marketing focus was a little spread out. We had some really great discussions based on that marketing roadmap yesterday that I talked about with some members of our team and really syncing on our 2020 plan in its like macro scale. So I would say my marketing focus is prioritizing the things that have to get done in the day.
Yes, dear Lord.
So I have made a plugin for Monday.com, and I will until the day I die.
Well, I know you're like,
because it's the best thing ever, and I have lists upon lists upon lists. But
so like, walk me through that. In the morning, do you just like, what do I do today? I open Monday and I look at all the things I have to do.
Yeah, so it's like not even, I do that, and I also block out time, which I kind of alluded to yesterday, and I'll get a little bit more into my RealTalk today. But it surrounds the understanding that we don't actually prioritize enough time for our work needs during the work day, whereas we like to prioritize last minute meetings or last minute sync.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
one of my main things that I like to do with my team, and also with like the other teams like you and our dev team and everybody else, is have cyclical meetings. So I have like we all have a weekly check-in, meaning that like not only do kind of our C-suite have a weekly check-in, but we also have weekly check-in with our teams. So we can prioritize things that are on the horizon. And I also like doing that at a monthly cadence. So we've just started this monthly roadmap sync, which I think will be really exciting. We can report on more tomorrow. To like make that time, whether it be a half hour or an hour, your time to like communicate and have these check-ins, so that you're not constantly needing to send a Slack message and be like, hey, can you get on the phone? Like, I think that's really unproductive for all the work that you need to get done, especially like a marketing level where you're often like constantly stuck in creative or in thought or like thinking about different campaign idea. Like it can get very high level and macro way too quickly. So it's really hard to create lists to distill down the things that have to get done. So like I have two forms of lists. I have Monday.com, and I also have my productivity planner where it helps you prioritize the most important tasks of the day. And literally, even if it's just like responding to an advisor, an investor, like goes on the planner because it has to get done. And there's something so satisfying by clicking done.
It's so true.
And so because we've just had a lot of those kinds of meetings today, I kind of have to use that as my marketing play for the day. Like totally honest with you, didn't do a whole lot other than that. And I think that's okay too, right? Like I have the list so I can see where we're trending, but like I got a lot of stuff done yesterday, so I'm feeling okay about it.
Yeah, brilliant. And we had an hour-and-a-half conversation with the team orienting, based on your strategy, orienting what happens next in execution. So I think we're good.
Digital. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the plays that I'll say just at a higher level. Like we made the strategic decision to hire one team who can handle all of digital, meaning social, organic, earned, and paid. And that has been like transformative to the experience.
Yeah, it's much more efficient.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. In light of not taking 19 minutes.
Sorry. Erin, go for your money moves.
That's my next one.
Yeah.
Money moves. Okay, so yesterday we talked about money markets and high yield savings. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about CDs, certificates of deposit, today, which is another kind of form of savings similar to money markets. And one thing that we talked about yesterday is the difference between the high yield savings and the money market is just the restrictions around how many times you can pull your money out of money markets. And that's because the bank keeps your money and, lends it out. So they need you not to pull it out as much as you possibly could from like savings or checking. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing to watch for, though, I think the Nav.it 101 here is watch for fees. So the other thing that happens in money markets is if you don't maintain a certain minimum balance, they will charge you fees. And that usually wipes out whatever interest you've earned. So it really is a stick it there, like, and let it sit kind of play where you're not moving money. And it's really to like make that interest and not touch it if you don't have to. So that's a money market. Then the CD is a similar kind of form of you get a guaranteed interest. And it's usually, right now, I was just looking it up, right now it's trending around 2%. So 1 year annual APY, which is annual percentage yield, is at Goldman it's 2, Synchrony it's 2, Barclays it's 2.1, And so that's like maybe higher, maybe the high yield money markets you're going to get right now are like 1.85 or maybe 2, but it's higher. So slightly higher, but the key, sorry?
175 is what
you're getting at Amex. Yeah. That's a money market. But the key is that in a CD, your money is locked into that investment, the CD, certificate of deposit, for a certain fixed amount of time.
Okay.
That could be 12 months, 24 months, 60 months even. So you get that return guaranteed for 2 years, 3 years, whatever, but you can't touch the money. So it's like, it actually becomes more like like the retirement products, like an IRA or your 401k that you get penalties on, like big penalties, and you get like taxed on if you take it out before, 59 and a half or whatever that product is. So it's another bank product that gets you a higher return on your money, but it locks up your money if you need it.
Yeah, and I think that this really gets into our conversations around risk, which we're going to take a really deep dive into next week and consider the different levels of risk during your different life cycles.
Yes.
So we're really excited to bring out these more macro trending topics in the financial space and like whittle them down into your different experiences day by day. Yes. As well as continue to talk about kind of the key money terms. If you don't already subscribe to our weekly newsletter, we always have a financial term in the newsletter once a week, which is always fun, as well as in the app. Environment 2. I think CDs to me feel like a good representation of the difference between a stock and a bond, where it's like, if I was 65 plus, maybe I would trend towards the safer bet of bonds and CDs, whereas since I'm not that age, I lean towards the more risky with the higher return long term in the stock market and in high yield savings.
Yeah. So I mean, when I think of risk and I think of financial products, I think of banking products as one vertical, and then I think of like investment growth products as a second one. And those are kind of separate to me. So banking products are about cash that you want to access and that you need to live on, or you need as an emergency in some sort of like quick way to get it. So that means like, and then so you do kind of, the banks are making money on your money, so you might as well get some return on it, right? You should shop around and watch out for fees, because I think the fees are such crap, right? They make money on you. It's
so hard to find. Like, I was reading some fine print on 4 different items today, and I couldn't figure it out. And I kind of like, I know what to look for.
Yeah. And that's like, that's the rate. Regulations are so ridiculous, and they changed ways people can manage money, but they didn't change that people like banks need to be more transparent about fees. It's just ridiculous, like of all the things. Yeah. But anyways, so that's banking. So banking's like the money you want to access quickly. And then for me, like the retirement, the investments, that's like your 401k that you're not going to touch, till you're in your 60s. That's your, IRAs, Roth IRAs, if you want to put in like those kind of vehicles that sit for 30 years and make money. And then your stocks and bonds and like what you're actually playing with in the market, your ETFs, your mutual funds, that's like your brokerage account. And to me, I like those two things are separate, because on the investment side, you get penalized from tax perspective on capital gains when you pull money out of the markets, right? At any point usually. And yes, like we can get into this, like Roth IRA versus IRA, like pre-tax, post-tax money, that's something else. But the bottom line, if you separate those two, banks, you're not going to get really high capital gains or any like tax penalty pulling your money in and out of banks, whereas in the investment world, you do.
Yeah. That was beautiful. In keeping with time, we will try and wrap this up. So my favorite topic of the day, real talk. Do you have a real talk?
No, tell me yours. Go for it.
So if you watched, I guess it was episode 6 yesterday, you will know that
ours. Okay. I thought you were on Netflix or something. Like, what? Wait, what? Netflix?
No, I blew through The Crown in an afternoon. I'm pretty proud of myself.
Oh, I can't wait. Is it good?
Oh yeah, it's great. Okay, so if you watched our episode of the Nav.it Files yesterday, you will know that I'm obsessed with this concept of guilt, and the guilt that apparently is a female trait specifically. Well, I think this goes well beyond the work environment, but we're talking about it in a professional work environment today.
Yeah.
So Harvard Business Review has been focused on the ways in which men and women really grow up in their profession and progress in their profession in different ways. From certainly, we all talk about salary negotiation. We all talk about different ways of networking and getting ahead. Women are more collaborative, and actually benefit from having a close network of women more so than men benefit by having such a close network too. Men are like it's helpful to have like a career specific network, if that makes sense. So like if I'm in marketing, I have a bunch of other buddies who are in marketing and they like help me out my career. Whereas women, it's much more cultivated around like the quality and the closeness of your inner circle.
Yeah.
Collaboration is key. But now in getting with guilt was really interesting because they were looking at how men and women differ in their day-to-day work environment. Yeah. So I want to bring this into a real talk because I just want to say like, fuck this. Said it.
Yes, you said it. Drop it. It's well warranted.
There are so many super simple ways for you as a manager or boss or whomever you are to make this environment more equitable for your employees day to day. Like, fuck you if you're not doing this, basically.
Okay, wait, give some examples.
I will give you some examples of how to create mutual accountability in your work environment. Now, one, which I was reading about and I think really makes sense and resonates well with us, is eliminating ambiguity. I think this is especially important as a lot of work and your workforce goes more and more remote. So even if you're not a fully remote team, like you might have Fridays or remote or whatever it is, eliminate the ambiguity of your task management and your task delegation. So like, for instance, women will take on more than their fair share of work. So if I say, hey, Erin, like go plan Q1 2020 event in San Diego, like go do that.
Yeah.
You will take on the majority of the responsibility, even though you know you're supposed to pull in other people from your team to help delegate that. Because that's on your shoulders, you're just gonna like, and because you're a capable female, you know that you're gonna take on the like a kind of root and brunt of all of that work. Whereas if I say, okay, instead of let me give you a precise request, hey Erin, can you come up with an agenda that we can talk about in next week's meeting about the lists of tasks and to-dos that your team needs to get done? And so by tasking you as, say, your manager with the responsibility of like coming up with the strategy and then creating clear delegation and indicators for each of those strategic points that will get the job done, that will not only, yes, it might give you work up front, but it also gives you greater agency to run the show whilst delegating. So I think that that's like a key component. If we can all be, and like, fuck me, like I'm bad at this sometimes, right? Like I'll be like, oh, go figure this out. Like we've got ambassadors to launch, go figure it out.
Right.
But that's not really helpful because it's not really clear. Like even if you have a brand guide and you have clear directives of what your voice is and you know who your target audience is, that's not delegating clear mutual accountability. So that's one.
So you're saying to break it down into smaller chunks and give, like, I feel like if I went and said to you, let's figure out, influencer takeovers.
Yeah.
But I could say, could you come up with a plan and let's meet in 2 days and then delegate what those planned tasks are? That would be more efficient.
Yeah. And even if it's like plan a brainstorm. Yeah. Like even if and a brainstorm is a great side note, like a great way to think about any hang up that you have at work, to be like, I'm really feeling undervalued, or I'm really feeling like I don't have enough agency, or I'm really feeling like my boss and I aren't syncing on this, or my partner and I aren't syncing on this. Schedule a weekly brainstorm. Yes. Like if we need to come up with funding and we're getting really jaded in our own experiences, like we should connect every week and make like this kind of fun. It can be a fun environment of just saying like, let's think outside the box. Like creatives do this really well.
Yes.
So do more of that, but like delegate the communication.
Right? I really love that because it's actually, you become problem solvers as opposed to like, you know, either authoritarian or stuck in one box. So you like come up with like pose the question and the problem, and then letting the collective think and problem solve. I think it's so much more effective across all, like personal and professional.
Totally. And it also then allows your own employees to claim accountability for the tasks that they've been delegated. And that's a great thing for them to be able to come to you at the end of their 6-month mark and be like, I owned this thing that you gave me.
Yeah.
It helped the collective execute more effectively. Anyway, so mutual accountability, because I've already taken up too much time, is a component to getting rid of too much guilt. And the reason why this comes back to guilt is because we're taking on a majority of these like ambiguous tasks, we constantly are almost competing with ourselves and feeling guilty of ourselves for not putting in more time, energy, and effort when there was something that might have been sidestepped, but also that like you could have done, but you didn't need to do in the first place. But because this was such an ambiguous task, you don't know what the threshold of completion is. Right.
That makes sense.
So that's it.
I love it.
Talk.
I love it. Real talk.
We'll talk more about guilt tomorrow because I have so many other thoughts. And thanks guys for listening. See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye.